Okay, so we just got through 9.2, the first part of it, where we're looking at the different types of graphs that you're going to see. Now let's go ahead and use these charts and these graphs to answer some questions. So you can use these charts and graphs to answer a whole litany or a list of different, questions, how many, how much, what percentage, blah, blah, blah. So just get prepared for that and just know the basic properties of the graphs, and it's pretty easy to answer the questions. So this first example has to do with this pie chart over here. So it says that given that 200 people are surveyed, how many of them like baseball? Well, that's really easy because I know that 20% of the people like baseball. So all I got to do is find 20% of 200. So I just do 200 times 0.2 or 20%, and I'll get my answer, which should be 40. So it would be 40 people that like baseball. If 20 people like baseball, how many people were surveyed? Well, in this case, we don't know how many people were surveyed, but we can set it up kind of the same exact way. Or instead of 200, we're going to put X, which is our unknown amount. Multiply that by the total number of people that like basketball instead. So I misread that. 20 people like basketball. But the nice thing is that the same amount of people, or a percentage of people, like basketball, which is 20%. So 0.2 goes there. And then that'll be equal to the total number of people that like basketball, which is 20. So all I got to do is just solve this. So if I divide both sides by 0.2, that means that X is going to be equal to 20 over 0.2. And the number that I get for that is, let's see here, that's 100. If you use your calculator and multiply that out. Okay, so how many degrees is the soccer section? Oh, okay, I get it, degrees. Because since this is a full circle, it's 360 degrees. So if the pie chart represents 100%, and it's 360 degrees. So what percentage is of 100 of 360 degrees is going to go for the soccer section? So the soccer section is 30%. So all we need to do is just multiply that times 0.3, 30%. All right, then we use our calculators for that. Let's see, that'd be divided by 10, 36. 36 times 3 is 108. So that'd be 108 degrees in there. Yeah, double check that with my little calculator here. Good old Mr. Cook doesn't trust his math sometimes. Yeah, 108. Okay, so we're good. That's what it represents there. And we knew to do that method based off the fact that it says degrees, and once again, there's 360 degrees in this pie chart because it's a circle. All right, next, what's the median test score for this whole thing? Oh my gosh, so we better find the median for this, right? And keep in mind that, you remember for stem leaf plots that we use the key to write out the values. So if you really struggle with this part of it, because this can take a little bit of practice and finesse to um, not just figure out how to use the stem leaf plot, read it out, but to utilize it to answer some of these questions. Because it's one of those things where if you don't take your time with it, if you're not patient, you can get the wrong answer for something. So I'm going to show you a way to kind of get around this, and that's to kind of go back to your bread and butter, and that's just to write out the total values. It takes a little bit of time, but if you're struggling with this stuff, that might be the best way to do it if it ends up being something familiar to you. Because things like the median and the mean can be a little bit arduous to calculate. Well, let me show you how to use the stem leaf plot first, and then if we have some problems with it, I'll show you how to do it again, but with not using the stem leaf plot. All right, so let's find the median first. So the median is going to be the number that's in the middle. So all you need to do to find the median from a stem leaf plot is start with the lowest number, which is 72, and then cancel that out and cancel out the largest number, which in this case would be 10 plus another 0, so 100. So all the numbers on the right are going to be larger than our numbers on the left. So what we need to do is just kind of make our way towards the middle to find the median. So we eliminate the second, the smallest number, the second largest, third smallest, third largest, fourth smallest, fourth largest, fifth smallest, fifth largest, sixth smallest, sixth largest, seventh smallest, seventh largest, eighth smallest, eighth largest, and then ninth smallest and ninth largest. So that puts us at eliminating all these numbers to get to the middle value, which is a 7. So that'd be 87. So 87 is going to be our median. What's the highest test score? So, all you got to do is just put together the biggest number, which would be at the very bottom of the screen there. So it's going to be 10 and then another 0. So 100 was the biggest score on that that test? What's the mean test score? So in this case, what you're going to want to do is add all this stuff together. We've got 72, 72, and 74. This part takes a little bit of time. So just enter it into your calculator and let's start adding some of this together, okay? All right, so we've got 72 plus another 72 plus a 74 plus a 75 plus a 76 plus a 79. So if we add all those together on this row, we end up with 449. Now let's do the same. Oops, I'm sorry, 448. Wow, we're at 449. I don't know why I wrote that down. Sorry. So 448. Now let's go over to the 80s. So we have an 81 plus an 84 plus an 85 plus an 87 and another 87 and then 88. Oops, I'm sorry, 89. My bad. All right, and then we add all those together, we get 513. And then let's use the 9s. So we have 90 plus 91 plus 93 plus 95 plus 98. And we end up with 467. And then we go into the hundreds, and we just have 100 plus 100, so that's 200. So we add all those values together, 448 plus 513 plus 467 plus 200. So what I've just done is add together all of the numbers that are in this data set right over here, because that's how we find the mean or the average. We add up all those numbers, and when we did, we got 1628, and then we divide that by the total number of numbers. So let's count up how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So there's a grand total of 19 numbers over here, and you can count all those up by just counting up the individual values over in this leaf part. There should be a total of 19 of those. All right, so let me just divide them out. 1628 divided by 19 on my calculator, and I end up with an average of 85.68. All right, so there's our average. And then the last one, how many scored above 90%? So the ones that scored above 90% are just going to be the values that are in the table that are above that number of 90. So 90 doesn't count, so we got to count all the ones that are above it. So 91, 93, 95, 98, and then 2 of these 100. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 total scores above 90. All right, and then that should be the last of our examples. So what I'm going to do is spend a little bit of time showing you how to set this up without a stem and leaf plot if this is just too confusing for you. The way to do that is just to use the little key over here and just list your data set out as it is. So there's 19 numbers, so it's a bunch of numbers, so it's going to be less compact. But it might be able to help you out in the long run, if you're patient with it. So let's list out the numbers using the key. So we have a 72, another 72, a 74, a 75, a 76, a 79, an 81, an 84, an 85, an 87, another 87, an 89, and then a 90, a 91, a 93, 95, 98, and then 100 and 100. So you see like why the stem and leaf plots can help out a lot. It's because it takes all of these numbers that we have and, like kind of displays the exact same numbers in just a little tiny table, like the one that we have right there with the stem and leaf plot. So it can be like really, really helpful to do these stem and leaf plots, but like, you kind of got to know how to read them. Otherwise, it can get a little bit frustrating to, find the median and all that stuff as we saw. But from here, you can do the same stuff. Like if you needed to find the median, you just, cross out the first number and last number, second and first, second and last. See, I'm going to make my way into this and find, the same exact median that we had with the stem and leaf plot. But this is just kind of like the old school way of doing it. That we had previously. See, 87, same median value. And you can find the mean the same way, just add up the individual values and then divide by 19. So yeah, that's just a couple different ways of looking at it, but all from the same information, from the same data set. All right, that's it for this video, and that completes 9.2. So now we're going to move on to 9.3. And if you guys are struggling with any of this stuff, please don't hesitate to go reach out to your teacher and get help from them. They'll help you out in their office hours or whenever you need them. All right, that's it. Thanks.